Well, muddy waters. Congresswoman Maxine Waters, the Democrat of California, in a remarkable public defense against ethics charges today in a 2-hour display press conference on the Hill while lawmakers are gone, complete with a PowerPoint presentation. She's accused of helping a bank with ties to her husband obtain federal bailout money. She denies the charges, but Rick, pretty extraordinary stuff at a time when Democrats need to be focusing on November.
That's right. Just a few days after Charlie Rangel commandeers the House floor for 37 minutes to give his public defense, Maxine Waters does this with her grandson slash chief of staff in the wings. This is not what Democrats want to see happening over recess. They're not happy with this at all. And it's remarkable that you have two members of Congress deciding to take these charges outside of the Ethics Committee. Usually when you're accused of wrongdoing, you try to keep it quiet. These guys are speaking out with everything they've got. Next up, border security. President Obama has signed a $600 million border security bill and saved these photos because they are the last photos that we're going to see this year of President Obama signing bills that have anything to do with immigration reform. This is all that Congress is going to be able to get done, Devin. That is the stark political reality. And of course, all those promises that have been out there all go by the wayside. And this is the sum total of the action.
Right, Rick. And even though Republicans have been hammering the administration for more efforts to secure the border, they get this bill in, they're not likely to go away. And it just is going to be a huge hurdle for the administration to get Republicans to the table on comprehensive reform. I'm not sure when they're going to get there. And next up, Quayle's Quest. Ben Quayle, the 33-year-old son of the former vice president, is running for Congress out of Arizona, and he's out with a combative new ad where he says that President Obama is the worst president ever. And add to this some blogging that he allegedly did on a racy Arizona website, soliciting or about his engagement with some women. Certainly some spicy stuff that we really can't ignore, Rick.
Of course, no comment on who the worst vice president in history is. We'll
right.
play a little bit of that ad later in the program. And finally, today, some summer fun. McCain hearts Snooki. The summer's weirdest flirtation continues. John McCain says he agrees with Jersey Shore's Snooki that she's just too pretty for prison. Not sure yet that John McCain knows exactly who Snooki is, but this is a fun little tale of the long distance flirtation going on between the two of them.
It totally is. It's a fun flirtation, and apparently it carried out on Twitter as well. McCain responding to one of Snooki's tweets about tanning beds,
yes,
and told her to wear sunscreen. Which
yeah, it was good from the Arizonan to get that kind of advice. We begin today with the hot immigration debate in Washington and beyond. It's Laura Vasquez of the Nat'l Council of the Raza joining us today. And Laura, I want to start with this bill. We saw the $600 million border security bill. As we said, that's it for immigration reform this year in all likelihood. How disappointing is that to people who've been pushing for this and heard a lot of promises out of Democrats about how action was going to happen?
Well, we think that it should send a sign to both parties that this is not enough, and it should send a strong signal to the Democrats hearing from Republicans that what they just signed is not enough. We've heard Kyle and McCain and Senators Grassley as well saying this is enough. So the Democrats need to heed that lesson that the Republicans aren't really interested in solving this problem if that's the rhetoric that they're going to go with right now.
And the problem you're talking about is there's a whole other side to this issue, right? I mean, we're talking about reforming the legal immigration system. We're talking about addressing the strategy, some sort of strategy for the 10.8 million illegal immigrants in the country. And Republicans keep hammering this secure the border message. They're afraid of some kind of an amnesty deal. But what's it going to take, in your view, to really get Republicans to the table to address some of these other issues that they seem to be ignoring right now?
Well, they need, like you said, it really has to be a comprehensive solution. We need to have all of those pieces together. The elements are all there. And I think the public understands that, and Congress needs to hear the message from the people across the country who are frustrated by the lack of action here in Washington, who are saying enough with this. We need to see a comprehensive solution.
So you're saying you think public opinion is really going to have to get there to nudge them
And the public opinion is there, in fact. We've seen in a number of polls that 2/3 of Americans understand that we need a comprehensive solution, that it isn't something that can be tackled just through border security.
Now, clearly Republicans aren't playing, but Democrats have 59 Senate seats. They've got a 39-seat House edge. If it doesn't happen in this environment, how can it happen when they're likely to lose seats in the next Congress?
Well, it's up to both parties to see the demographics here. I mean, there's both parties have been playing in this issue for some time. We've seen it in Congress after Congress, Republicans that are still there that have voted in favor of it already. So this is something that, yeah, it's up to them whether they want to, listen to the fastest growing part of the electorate, the Latino vote.
Again, to be clear though, did Democrats keep their promise on this?
Well, we haven't seen that. I mean, we've heard from President Obama, a number of Democrats in the Senate, that this was going to be a priority, and we haven't seen anything other than the words repeated.
And is there a political cost here? I mean, is there, with these promises, Hispanics, as you know, are the fastest growing minority group in the country. They're set to make up 60% of the population by 2030. I mean, which party is going to pay more? I mean, we see Republicans pushing and supporting the Arizona bill, which has a lot of opposition from Hispanics. We also see this business to revise the 14th Amendment. But meanwhile, Democrats, as we've been talking about, have made these promises. I mean, who's going to pay here in November and beyond?
Both parties need to heed the lessons here. We've seen that the Republicans were definitely courting the Latino vote in a number of elections. As recently as 2004, they received 43% of the Latino vote. Now, with the rhetoric and with some of the more extreme positions coming into the mainstream party, I think that's something that we're very disappointed in.
There's been a big debate raging in Washington this week. Harry Reid came out earlier in the week and said he doesn't understand why any Hispanic would be a Republican. And then we got this response from Marco Rubio, who's the Republican Senate candidate in Florida. Take a listen to this.
The agenda that Harry Reid supports is trying to destroy and dismantle the American free enterprise system. And so that's why Hispanics should be Republicans, and I believe a growing number of Hispanics will become Republicans over the last few years, because the agenda that Harry Reid supports kills Hispanics' dreams for their children.
Who's right, Harry Reid or Marco Rubio?
Well, both of them, both parties have to pay attention to the Latino vote because of the growing number of Latinos. Every year, we're going to see 500,000 Latino voters or Latino citizens turn 18 for the next 20 years. This is something that both parties need to pay attention to, and they cannot continue the demagoguery and the scapegoating that we're seeing right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was an interesting debate and an interesting issue all year. Laura Vasquez of the National Council on La Raza. And check out at abcnews.com. Devin Dwyer had a tremendous piece of journalism, 10-part series on immigration. Go check it out, abcnews.com.